Deep within the unforgiving wilderness of the Ural Mountains, a group of 9 experienced hikers embarked on a challenging adventure. Their destination, Ural Mountain, a peak shrouded in local legend and whispered superstition. Little did they know their expedition would take a sinister turn. They were walking into a mystery that would baffle investigators for decades to come. A mystery that remains unsolved to this day. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Weeks after the hikers set off, their expected return date passed in silence. Concern turned to alarm. A search party was assembled, desperate to find any sign of the missing group. What they would discover, however, was beyond their worst nightmares. The hiker's tent was found ripped open from the inside, belongings scattered and, most disturbingly, completely abandoned. It was a scene of chaos, suggesting a sudden and desperate flight from an unknown terror. The bodies of the hikers were found scattered across the mountainside, some partially clothed, others bearing horrific injuries. The official cause of death for some, hypothermia. But the details, the strange positions of the bodies, the missing clothing in the bitter cold, it simply didn't add up. The injuries discovered on some of the hikers defied explanation. Internal injuries with no external signs of trauma, missing eyes and tongues. These were not simply the unfortunate victims of a natural disaster. Something far more sinister had transpired on that isolated mountain. The investigation that followed was shrouded in secrecy. The official Soviet explanation, a compelling natural force. But the lack of transparency, the hushed whispers, and the classified documents only fueled speculation. What really happened on Dyatlov Pass? Was it a natural disaster, a military experiment gone wrong, or something even more unexplainable? Join us as we delve into the chilling evidence, explore the various theories, and attempt to unravel the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident. The year was 1959. The world watched as the Soviet Union and the West were locked in the grips of the Cold War. But for a group of students at the Ural Polytechnical Institute, a different kind of adventure beckoned. They were young, filled with a thirst for knowledge and a love for the outdoors. Their goal, a grueling skiing and hiking expedition to Ural Mountain, deep in the heart of the Ural Mountains. The expedition was ambitious, a grade 3 hike, the most difficult category at the time. Their route would take them through dense forests, across frozen rivers, and up treacherous slopes. But these were experienced hikers, well equipped and prepared for the challenges ahead. Or so they thought. Leading the group was Igor Dyatlov, a confident and capable young man studying radio engineering. He was joined by 8 other students, each with their own unique skills and dreams. There was Zina Kolmogorova, a spirited young woman known for her quick wit and infectious laugh. Yuri Krivonishenko, a skilled sportsman and athlete eager to test his limits. Lyudmila Dubinina, a quiet and observant student of radio engineering, always ready with a helping hand. This was a close-knit group brought together by their shared love of adventure and the camaraderie forged in the face of adversity. They were friends, classmates, confidants, about to embark on a journey that would test their strength, their resilience, and ultimately their very survival. On January 27, 1959, the group boarded a train that would take them to the edge of the wilderness. Their journey began with high spirits, their laughter echoing through the train carriage. They documented their adventure meticulously in journals and photographs, capturing the breathtaking scenery and the challenges they faced. They encountered local Mansi people, indigenous inhabitants of the region. who shared stories of the mountain's mystical nature, their warnings echoing with an unsettling premonition. Yet the hikers pressed on, undeterred, their spirits high. As the hikers ventured deeper into the wilderness, the weather took a turn for the worse. Temperatures plummeted and blizzards swept across the mountains, reducing visibility to mere meters. They faced setbacks, losing their way in the blinding snow, their progress slowing to a crawl. One of their own, Yuri Yudin, fell ill and was forced to abandon the expedition. He would be the last to see his friends alive. His departure, a poignant reminder of the fragility of life, would later become a cruel twist of fate. On February 1st, 1959, the remaining 9 hikers set up camp on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, the mountain of the dead in the Mansi language. It was a fateful decision, one that would seal their doom. What happened next remains a chilling enigma, a puzzle with pieces that refuse to fit. Their final photograph, a blurred image capturing the moment before darkness descended, offers a haunting glimpse into their last known moments. What terror drove them from their tents into the freezing night? And why, with their survival instincts screaming at them, did they flee into the darkness, inadequately clothed and without their shoes? Days turned into weeks. The silence from the mountains grew more deafening with each passing hour. February 20th, 1959, the date the hikers were due back, arrived with a chilling absence. Families and friends clung to hope, but fear gnawed at their hearts. Where were they? What could have gone wrong? A rescue mission, spearheaded by fellow students and teachers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, was swiftly assembled. Experienced mountaineers and skiers volunteered, driven by a desperate hope to find their friends alive. But as they ventured deeper into the desolate wilderness, they knew time was running out. On February 26th, a breakthrough. The search party stumbled upon the hikers' camp on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl. But the sight that greeted them was far from reassuring. The tent, half buried in snow, was ripped open from the inside, its contents scattered haphazardly. It was a scene of utter chaos, as if abandoned in a desperate panic. Footprints, some barefoot, some wearing only socks, led away from the tent, disappearing into the darkness of the surrounding forest. Why had they fled their shelter, their only protection against the elements? What had driven them into the freezing night, so ill-prepared and seemingly terrified? Over the next few days, the grim reality of the situation unfolded. The bodies of 5 hikers were found scattered across the mountainside, some partially clothed, others bearing horrific injuries. Some were found lying near a makeshift fire pit, their bodies contorted in unnatural positions, their final moments etched in expressions of agony. The initial cause of death for some was determined to be hypothermia, a cruel irony given their desperate attempts to build a fire. But the details, the strange positions of the bodies, the missing clothing in the bitter cold, it simply didn't add up. Something more sinister had transpired on that desolate mountain. As the autopsies were conducted, a chilling picture began to emerge. Some victims had suffered massive internal injuries, fractured skulls and broken ribs. Yet there were no external signs of trauma. It was as if they had been crushed by an immense force, but what could have inflicted such damage in that desolate landscape? Even more disturbing, some bodies were missing their eyes and tongues, their faces frozen in silent screams. Adding to the mystery, high levels of radiation were found on some of the victims' clothing, and their skin had a strange orange hue. These were not simply the unfortunate victims of a natural disaster. Something far more sinister had transpired on that isolated mountain. The official Soviet investigation, however, seemed determined to quickly close the case. Citing a compelling natural force as the cause of death, they offered no further explanation for the bizarre injuries, the missing clothing, or the strange radiation levels. The case was closed, the file sealed, and the mystery remained. The lack of transparency, the hushed whispers, and the classified documents only fueled speculation. What were the authorities hiding? Was this a cover-up, a desperate attempt to conceal a darker truth? The questions surrounding the Dyatlov Pass incident refused to be silenced, echoing through the decades that followed. In the years since the tragedy, numerous theories have attempted to explain the events on Dyatlov Pass. The mystery has captivated the minds of many, leading to a plethora of hypotheses, each trying to piece together the puzzle of what truly happened on that fateful night. Among these theories, one stands out due to its seemingly logical explanation and the way it aligns with some of the physical evidence found at the site. One of the most prevalent is the avalanche theory. Proponents point to the hiker's location on a slope, which, under certain conditions, could be prone to avalanches. The theory suggests that the group unknowingly set up their camp in a dangerous spot where the snowpack above them was unstable and ready to give way at any moment. The potential for unstable snowpack in the area and the force with which their tent was seemingly flattened are key points in this theory. The tent, found crushed under a layer of snow, indicates that a significant force acted upon it. This force could have been the result of an avalanche, which would have hit the tent with immense power, flattening it almost instantly. Could a sudden avalanche have ripped through their camp, separating the hikers and inflicting the injuries observed on some of the victims? The theory posits that the avalanche's sudden impact would have caused panic, leading the hikers to flee their tent in a state of confusion and fear, without proper clothing or gear to protect them from the harsh elements. The force of tons of snow could explain the broken bones, internal injuries, and the sheer terror that seemingly drove them from their tent. The injuries sustained by some of the hikers, such as fractured skulls and broken ribs, are consistent with the kind of trauma that could be inflicted by an avalanche. Additionally, the scattered belongings and the state of the campsite support the idea of a sudden, violent event. But critics argue that the evidence doesn't quite add up. They point out several inconsistencies and gaps in the avalanche theory that raise questions about its validity. For instance, the lack of significant snowfall in the days leading up to the incident is a major point of contention. There was no significant snowfall recorded in the days leading up to the incident, which would typically be necessary to trigger an avalanche of the magnitude suggested by the theory. Without fresh snow to add weight and instability to the snowpack, the likelihood of an avalanche occurring diminishes significantly. Furthermore, the terrain surrounding the campsite showed no signs of a large-scale avalanche. The snow around the area remained largely undisturbed, and there were no clear avalanche paths or debris that one would expect to find if such an event had taken place. Additionally, some victims were found far from the tent, their bodies oriented in different directions, suggesting that they may have been trying to escape from something other than an avalanche. The positions and conditions of the bodies indicate a more complex and chaotic series of events that unfolded that night. This disorganized scene, with multiple footprints and scattered belongings, hints at a scenario where the hikers were reacting to a sudden and unexpected threat. While the avalanche theory provides a plausible explanation for some aspects of the tragedy, it leaves many questions unanswered, keeping the mystery of Dyatlov Pass alive. The shroud of secrecy surrounding the official investigation fueled another theory-secret military activity: This theory suggests that the Soviet government was conducting covert operations in the area, operations so secretive that even the local population was unaware of them. The Ural Mountains, with their remote and rugged terrain, provided an ideal location for such clandestine activities. Some speculate that the hikers stumbled upon a restricted area and were caught in the crossfire of a military exercise or the victims of a clandestine weapons test. The idea is that the hikers unknowingly ventured into a zone where the military was testing new weapons or conducting secret drills. This could explain the violent and mysterious nature of their injuries. Proponents point to the strange lights witnessed in the sky by other hikers in the area around the time of the incident. These lights were described as glowing orbs or streaks of light moving erratically across the night sky. Such phenomena could be attributed to flares, experimental aircraft, or even missile tests. The presence of these lights adds a layer of intrigue and supports the theory of military involvement. The high levels of radiation found on some of the victims' clothing further fuel this theory. Radiation is not something that would naturally be present in such high concentrations in the wilderness. This anomaly suggests that the hikers might have come into contact with radioactive materials, possibly from a weapon or a piece of equipment used in the tests. Additionally, the orange hue of their skin, possibly caused by exposure to unknown chemicals, raises more questions. This discoloration could be a result of chemical burns or exposure to toxic substances. Such chemicals might have been part of the military's experimental arsenal, further supporting the theory that the hikers were unintended victims of a secret test. Could the Soviet military have been conducting secret tests in the region, using the harsh and isolated environment to their advantage? The Ural Mountains' seclusion made it an ideal location for activities that needed to be kept away from prying eyes. The military could have been testing anything from new weapons to survival techniques in extreme conditions. And did the Dyatlov group inadvertently stumble upon something they shouldn't have seen? Their presence in the area could have been purely coincidental, but it might have led them to witness something that was meant to remain hidden. This accidental discovery could have triggered a series of events that led to their tragic demise. However, skeptics argue that the hikers' injuries were not consistent with any known weapons. The nature of their wounds, while severe, did not match the typical injuries one would expect from conventional military weapons. This discrepancy casts doubt on the theory and suggests that other factors might have been at play. And there is no concrete evidence to support the claim of secret military activity in the area at that specific time. Despite the compelling circumstantial evidence, no definitive proof has been found to confirm that the military was conducting tests in the region during the period of the hikers' expedition. The secrecy of the Soviet regime, however, ensures that this theory continues to hold sway in the public imagination. The lack of transparency and the culture of secrecy that characterized the Soviet government leave room for speculation and conspiracy theories. As long as there are unanswered questions, the idea of secret military tests will remain a tantalizing possibility in the mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident. Another theory explores the possibility of a natural phenomenon known as infrasound. Infrasound refers to extremely low-frequency sound waves that are inaudible to humans but can cause feelings of unease, anxiety, and even physical discomfort. Could powerful infrasound waves generated by wind patterns interacting with the unique topography of Kholat-Syakhl have induced a state of panic and disorientation in the hikers, leading to their irrational behavior? The theory suggests that the hikers, bombarded by these unseen waves, cut their way out of their tent in a blind panic, fleeing into the darkness in a desperate attempt to escape the source of their discomfort. However, critics argue that while infrasound can cause discomfort and disorientation, it is unlikely to lead to the extreme behavior exhibited by the hikers, such as fleeing into the freezing night without proper clothing or footwear. Furthermore, the specific injuries found on the hikers remain difficult to explain solely through exposure to infrasound. For those who believe in the unexplained, the Dyatlov Pass incident has become synonymous with UFO sightings and extraterrestrial encounters. Fueling this theory are reports from other hikers in the area who claim to have seen strange orange lights in the sky around the time of the incident. Could the hikers have stumbled upon a landed spacecraft or witnessed something so terrifying, so utterly alien, that it drove them to flee their tent in terror? Proponents of this theory point to the lack of other explanations, the strange lights and the seemingly inexplicable nature of the event itself. However, the UFO theory suffers from a lack of concrete evidence. While the strange lights remain unexplained, there is no physical evidence to suggest the presence of a spacecraft or any other worldly beings. The UFO theory, while capturing the imagination, remains highly speculative. Decades after the tragedy, the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to fascinate and frustrate in equal measure. Each theory, while offering a possible explanation, ultimately fails to account for all the strange details, the conflicting evidence, and the lingering questions that hang over the case like a shroud. Was it a tragic accident, a perfect storm of unfortunate circumstances, or was it something more sinister? A dark secret buried beneath layers of time and official silence. The truth, it seems, remains elusive, lost somewhere in the frozen wastes of the Ural Mountains. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains an open wound in the annals of history, a chilling testament to the unpredictable and often unforgiving nature of the wilderness. Despite decades of investigation, speculation, and analysis, we are no closer to a definitive answer. Why did the hikers flee their tent in such a desperate manner, ill-prepared for the deadly cold? What explains the bizarre injuries, the missing eyes and tongues, the strange orange hue of their skin? And why did the official investigation seem so determined to quickly close the case, leaving so many questions unanswered? The passage of time has done little to diminish the mystery. If anything, the unanswered questions have only served to fuel our collective fascination, drawing us deeper into the enigma of Dyatlov Pass. The Dyatlov Pass incident has transcended the boundaries of a simple, unsolved mystery. It has become a cultural phenomenon, inspiring countless books, documentaries, films, and even video games. The story of the hikers continues to resonate with people from all walks of life, capturing our imaginations, fueling our fears, and reminding us of the enduring power of the unknown. It serves as a chilling reminder of the thin veil that separates us from the unforgiving forces of nature and the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows. The legacy of the Dyatlov Pass incident extends beyond the tragic loss of 9 young lives. It speaks to our innate desire to understand the world around us, to seek answers to the unknown, and to find meaning in the face of tragedy. We may never know for certain what transpired on that desolate mountainside. The events that unfolded on that fateful night have been shrouded in mystery for decades, leaving us with a puzzle that seems almost impossible to solve. The harsh, unforgiving environment of the Ural Mountains only adds to the enigma, as if the landscape itself is guarding its secrets. The passage of time has obscured the truth, leaving us with more questions than answers. As the years go by, memories fade and the physical evidence deteriorates, making it increasingly difficult to piece together what really happened. Yet, this very uncertainty fuels our curiosity and drives us to keep searching for the truth. But perhaps that is part of what makes the Dyatlov Pass incident so enduring, so endlessly fascinating. The mystery invites us to explore the unknown, to question the official narratives, and to consider alternative explanations. It challenges our understanding of reality and pushes the boundaries of our imagination. It challenges us to confront the limits of our knowledge, to embrace the unknown, and to never stop searching for answers. Each new theory, each piece of evidence, no matter how small, brings us one step closer to uncovering the truth. The journey itself becomes a testament to human curiosity and our relentless pursuit of understanding. Today, with the advent of the internet and the rise of citizen sleuths, the search for answers continues. Online communities and forums have become hotbeds of discussion and debate, where enthusiasts from around the world share their insights and theories. The collective effort of these modern-day detectives keeps the mystery alive and vibrant. New theories are proposed, old evidence is re-examined, and the debate rages on in online forums and research groups. The digital age has democratized the search for truth, allowing anyone with an internet connection to contribute to the investigation. This collaborative approach has led to the discovery of new clues and the re-evaluation of existing evidence. The Dyatlov Pass incident is no longer confined to the annals of history. It has become a living, breathing mystery, constantly evolving as new information comes to light. Each new discovery, each fresh perspective, adds another layer to the story, making it richer and more complex. The mystery has transcended time, captivating new generations of truth seekers. What do you think happened on Dyatlov Pass? Was it a natural disaster, a secret military experiment, or something even more sinister? Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. Your perspective could be the key to unlocking this enduring mystery. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and join us as we continue to explore the mysteries of the past and the enduring allure of the unknown. Together, we can piece together the fragments of history and perhaps one day uncover the truth behind the Dyatlov Pass incident.